Hello, this is Patrick. Um, I just wanted to do an update on what my plans are during lockdown. Not to all my subscribers, but just a project that I'm going to be undertaking, which I think is quite important. So, in the next few weeks, I plan to train to run 5 kilometres on the 5th or 6th of December for a charity called South London Cares. I have been volunteering for this charity on and off since October last year, and it's part of the wider Cares family, which I think is a really important initiative. The idea is that young professionals, in inverted commas, people in their 20s or just about like me, then engage with older neighbours in their community. So for me, that's South London, it could be North London, East London. There's also projects in Manchester and Liverpool. And the idea is to have intergenerational connection with older neighbours, and for older neighbours to also learn about people around them who they might see walking on the street but don't know who they are, and stuff like this. When I first heard about it, I went for an interview for South London Cares, East London Cares last summer, and I didn't get that role, but it's one of the best interviews I had. Just talking naturally, less pressure, kind of the value of working for a charity like that. And before, you'd kind of thought of befriending, I'd thought of befriending, but it was never portrayed in the way of what the younger person could get out of this. So I found that really interesting in terms of revitalising it and seeing it as an equal partnership between the older person and the younger person. So I've been attending social clubs of South London Cares and East London Cares for a while before COVID, and then when COVID struck, they've had to move all their services online, which with varying success, but it means that for the older people who are technologically connected, that works for them, but also it's going to be tricky reaching older people who are more isolated naturally. So last year I did a fundraiser for the British Red Cross and raised over £100, mainly thanks to my family. But that was, I did that because of a passion for helping refugees in the project Miles for Refugees. And this project I feel equally strong about because COVID-19 has affected us all differently, but obviously for older people it's hit them particularly hard. Losing a year of your life to be able to do the things that you want to do is especially hard, and particularly for people in care homes, people who can't see their loved ones, in a way that lockdown affects me but doesn't particularly change my life. You think of the people whose life it really does change, and how lucky we are to be able to do the things that we do, or at least from my perspective, it's changed my view on the things I'm quite petulant about and get annoyed by. So I don't particularly like running, but I can't play tennis at the moment, so I'm trying to see it in a positive light, something to keep the mind distracted, keep the mind well, but also for a wider purpose of keeping community organisations going and strong when the government response to COVID-19 wasn't the best. Voluntary and community organisations really stood on the shoulders of themselves and took it upon themselves to respond to the needs of the community. And you realised if those organisations weren't there, God forbid what would have happened, but getting food to people, getting support to people, it was really inspiring to see. So I'm going to set up a Just Giving page where people, ex-classmates, family, friends, whoever, can donate as little as they want or as much as they want to the charity South London Cares, and I will keep training to get to 5 kilometers. I'm not quite there yet. I've just done 2. I'll have to do it in installments or something, but it's going to be fun anyway. It's called the Santa Fun Run, so I'm not sure if I'll do it with my hat on the day. But yeah, I think this project is really important to me, this charity. Living in London is fine, but it's incredibly lonely too. And I think it's only in recent years that it's become more in the public that it's lonely for younger people too. And it really is. And I detach that from myself because of my personality. I'm naturally more reserved and find it harder to meet people. But I think for even people who are really socially connected, London is a very lonely city because it's very transient. Everyone's doing their own thing and concentrated on themselves. So naturally, that's not going to lead to having close-knit communities and getting to know your neighbours the way that, say, in my grandparents' generation that you would. So I just wanted to say a big thumbs up and congratulations to South London Cares and all the other community organisations that have really been strong during this pandemic. It's really inspired me and wanted me to get volunteering more in 2021, hopefully when this pandemic's over, or there is some end in sight on the horizon, because yeah, it's been completely tough. I remember when it first began of thinking, I hope just it's within 20,000 deaths in the UK, and then within months I realised that wasn't going to happen. So you become a bit numb to it over time, and that each one of those statistics is a life. And so for the people who are experiencing it now, I think it's upon all of us to make sure we continue thinking of them and the small things that can be done. And this is just my way to say, I'm thinking of you. Thank you for everything that is being done to help vulnerable people. And yeah, I'll do what I can to keep the stamina up and keep the positive vibes going. Okay, thanks.